Alright, in today's video, we are going to perform an installation of Db2 on Ubuntu Linux version 20.04. We're going to use the Db2 install utility. And in my previous videos, my focus mainly on Red Hat-like Linux distros due to the popularity of Ubuntu. So in this video, we're going to perform a install on Ubuntu, okay? And so for version of Fixpack 11.5.7.0, it does support Ubuntu on version 20.04 LTS. So if you Google the Db2 system requirements, you will find the IBM's link to seeing IBM support Red Hat, of course, CentOS, SUSE, and Ubuntu. However, for Ubuntu, they don't support HA. That means you cannot do autofailover or pure scale, those kind of things. Therefore, in this installation, we will not install TSAM, okay? Typically, system automation for multi-platform. So we just do a simple install and skip TSAM. And also in the 11.5.7, IBM also include an open source software called Pacemaker. So we're going to skip that as well. All right, here's our environment, hostname, U20. We're going to use root for simplicity. We already downloaded the Db2 Fixpack and the stage on the server. So let's go ahead to log on to the server. As I said, it doesn't matter where the server is. It can be on premise or on the cloud, or even use like Windows.psl. So we can install, okay? So here, let me just go ahead to get started. So I'm gonna so I'm gonna SS shell to that remote server. So it's U20. Typically, we should use a sudo user, okay? But for simplicity, I just use the root, so we don't have every time use prefix with the sudo the command, okay? So here's the server. Let's confirm our. So it's OS release. It's Ubuntu. This is our current version. Okay. Typically, we would like to do a Ubuntu update. Okay, so to update the list of packages. Okay, so let's first do the untar this install image. Okay, so we untar this install image, and after that we're going to perform the prerequisite check. Okay, so prerequisite check, if passed the prerequisite check, we're gonna do the install. Okay, so after install, we probably is going to create an instance and just for a test, make sure everything's working, and also create a DB. Okay, so this is our plan. Create an instance and create a database. Okay, so create DB. Okay, for the Ubuntu system, because when I install, probably it's out of date, so I'm gonna do a Ubuntu update to list to fresh the package. Okay, so and once this untar is finished, so let's go to the server location. This is the summer. So as usual, we're gonna do the Db2 pre-check. Okay, so let's do a Db2 pre-check quick. So -L is the latest, -I it is node pale scale. You see, we get a bunch of requirement, especially like this. Before we do that, we're gonna do apt update. Okay, we're gonna update to see what is available. So, and you're gonna go to the repository and to find the needed. Okay, all right, multiple time. Okay, it says if we want there's 200 to be upgraded, so we can do, but we're gonna skip this one. Then we're gonna start doing this pre-check. So the pre-check indicates first we need this stream functionality, okay, a stream package, okay, a utility. For that, it is the string. We know it is in the bin utilities. So if we install, they're gonna say no, not finding, because they don't know where it is. So actually, it is in the bin directory. Okay, the bin utilities. So that one is gonna install the string, this command, okay, or utility. So after that, we also need to check, the 32, not 32-bit, the key shell and the key shell 93. So it says this required high availability features, okay? But as we said, IBM doesn't support these high availability features, so it's actually meaningless to install those things. But still, we like to to make it more nice and clean. So let's repeat this prerequisite check. Okay, so that string warning is fit. Now we're gonna install key shell and or key shell 93. So it's going to be apt. So we're gonna install the key shell 93. Okay, so just go ahead and install this package, and after that, there's 232-bit packages. Typically, we really don't need to install those 32-bit key packages, but just for for sometimes we feel annoyed those kind of warnings. So for the second one, this libstd C++. So we're gonna go ahead to install. So I did do some research in order to satisfy those things. Okay. So the first one is lib this one. So it's going to be like this. Okay. So lib 6. 32, I believe this is the one. So we're going to install this one, and after the install is done, so we will check again. Okay, so this let's see. Okay, it is resolved that the lib std. Okay, now the remaining one, it is the libpam. Okay, for this libpam, so after research on the internet, so it's find it's going to be libpam 0g colon I386. Let's try this one. Okay. All right. So after install this package, so the pre-check is clean. They will not complain anymore. So if you do a -v 11.5.7.0 -I to see what is going to, then you will find all the requirement is match. You see, starting from match. Okay, so all right, so that is we done the pre-check. Now we're gonna do the install. The install is fairly simple. It's just db2 install. However, as we said, we're gonna skip those tsam, okay, and the pacemaker. So let's do a help. So help, you will see here no tsam. Okay, so we don't want this Tivoli SAMP. Also, we don't want the pacemaker. Okay, so then we're gonna put into command line use -f. So we're gonna say no tsam and also -f, no pacemaker. So we don't want those high availability cluster software. Then we can do return. Okay. So this time we'll still use interactive. So we're gonna like answer the question from the prompt. So we're gonna say accept license. We're gonna take a default install location. Also, we're gonna install the server. Okay. All right. So if you don't want, you can specify at the command line. Let's do this then. So that I kill this. Let's see. You would like P product is server -y. Let's say I accept the license, and also -b is the location of the software. So we're gonna take a default. Okay. So for this way, the one prompt, you just go directly and start the install. Okay. Okay. All right, and it says total is about 2,000 seconds. It shouldn't take that long. But it's gonna take a few minutes or maybe 10 minutes. So I'm gonna pause the video and come back shortly. All right, let's continue. It seems pretty simple. So the execution successful and it's clean install. So now if we return to so if we do a db2 ls, you will see where this installed. And so now what we're going to do is we're gonna create an instance. So to create an instance, we need first to create a user. Let's create a user. Use the command user add -m. That means we're gonna create the user home. So as typically we create a user called the db2 inst1, and on the Ubuntu on Ubuntu you need it's a little bit different from the Red Hat family. So we need to specify those -m, -s. This is the default shell. Okay, so we want /bin /bash. Okay, so we're gonna create a user. db2 inst1. So if we do a db2 inst1, so this is the user we create. So the group is same as the user. So once we have this one, we're gonna create the instance. For the instance, we're gonna go to this directory where we installed IBM software. So it's gonna be in the directory instance. And the command we're going to use is icreate, okay, icrt. So if we return to give you some, the syntax. So the required is going to be -u, the fence user ID. So we just use the same. And for general practice, we're probably going to use a different user ID, but it's fine. We just use this one, because we just made it for the demo purpose. Okay. So now they're going to create the instance user called db2 inst1. And once the user create, so we're gonna start the instance. And all right. So it says execution was successful. Then let's sudo to this db2 instance1. Okay. Also, let's take a look at the etc services. So at the end, so this is going to what the install tool is basically creates. This is the port we're going to connect. Okay, so let's do a db2 start, and so the instance is gonna start, and you can also check net stat. Okay, let's see. So you see, it should be listening to port net stat. Okay, so port 25,000. Okay, so that is the port if you connect from TCP/IP. All right, so the instance is up, so we can create the database. Let's see, db2. Okay, so this was all the processes. This is the fault monitor. C that is the database engine process, or system controller. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead to create a database. So list DB directory right now is going to be empty, right? Directory, and now we're gonna create. So we're gonna use the IBM tool called the DB sample. Let's see, that's okay. We just go ahead to return. Those have some options you can use to create this create the database. So basically, install create a user. So we're gonna create we created a user for the instance owner. Create instance, create a DB, then test connection. Okay, then we do a connection test. I'm not sure if I can connect remotely because I wasn't sure if I have anything installed, but we can give it a try. Let me see. So see if I have a db2 cmd installed on this on my laptop. Okay, so let's see db2. Okay, I seems we do have the db2 installed on the laptop. Okay, so in this way we can connect. Before connect, we have to know the password. So okay, so while this creating going on, so let me go back to that server. So let's see, I'm going to set the password. So in this way I can connect using the instance owner. Okay, so let's set a password for this db2 inst1. Okay. All right, so the database is created, and now let's do a connection locally. db2 connect to sample. Connect local. You don't need the username password because you already been authenticated. Okay. So let me see if I can connect remotely. Okay, so I want to try a remote connection. Before I do that, let me do a telnet. Okay, telnet. Make sure the port is open. Okay, 25,000. Okay, the port is open, so we should be able to connect. Okay, so to connect remote, there's various ways to connect. So let's see. list node directory to see. Typically, we need to do a what is called catalog, or you can catalog a remote. Okay, so let's do a db2 catalog node. Okay, TCP/IP. So it's going to be called a TCP/IP node. Let's call it U20 and remote. So the remote server name is U20, and the server, that is the port number, is 25,000. Okay. So we catalog the node, and now we're going to catalog the database. So catalog database db sample at node U20. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay, we catalog. So if we run the local side, if we do a db2 list db directory, you will see the directory. Okay, see the sbdb. Okay, you see it's cataloged. If you see the node directory, let's see where it is. Node directory is. Okay, so now try to connect remote. Okay, so we're gonna connect to sample user db2ins1, and then its password. Okay, so all right, it's connected. So we tested both local and remote, and on the remote on the server side, right? So if we do a db2 list application, you will see the connection from the you see with the two connection. One connection we did on the local, another connection is from the remote. This is the my laptop Windows connection. All right, it's pretty straightforward. There's nothing really different because, as I said previously, the nice thing about the DB2 the install is pretty much platform independent once you pass the DB2 pre-check. And also the way you start, stop, it's also platform independent, okay? So you don't actually theoretically, you don't need to rely on lots of like Linux, and you can do whatever you like to, when the server reboot to like start stop the db2 instance. But still, nowadays we try to close like using like a system D to for those for the monitor service. That is another story. But in general, that is the way you install and create it. And after the install, a database creation, you might need to tweak a few parameters for the database manager property, like dbm CFG and db CFG, to make it more customers-like to either production database, development database, so on, test, so on and so forth. All right, that's for today.